Random topics, flashcards, and unpredictable conversations. Buckle up for an Anything Goes episode of Locked On Celtics.
Beantown, be ever ready. It's the C's. Who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT Karalis. Recap the madness every game, every practice. Prime time dapping D White on the sideline. Raining J's, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Your team is the Boston Celtics, and I talk about them Monday through Friday for free right here, wherever you get your podcasts. It's on YouTube. Get into the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm John Karalis, beat writer for Boston Sports Journal. I've been doing this job, or a version of it, for about 20 years now. I've written a couple of books on the Boston Celtics, so I feel like I've got a decent grasp on this team. So shout me out, whatever. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. Today is what we like to call Flashcard Friday. It's a new thing where I asked you for topics, random topics, and I have a big stack of flashcards right here in my hand, and we're going to pick them randomly and talk about it. It's a freestyling for podcasts, and we're going to do it with our buddy Tom Westerholm. Tom, how are you feeling? Ready to freestyle podcast?
Everybody in the 313, put your mother. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm ready.
I don't know how that goes.
Oh, okay.
You want to finish that sentence for me?
Do you want me to finish that sentence for you?
No.
Okay.
So we got random topics here. Some of them I'm shuffling now for people who are not watching. Just some of them are fun. Some of them are serious. We'll try to get through them. Treat them appropriately. If we get too many silly ones in a row for some reason, we'll have to we'll skip and move. You know what I mean? We got to talk a little bit of Celtics. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Our first topic is the 2027 starters, not next year's starters, 25-26. The 2026-27 starters. So, this is an interesting one. 2027 starters. That might be.
Okay, so I mean, Tatum, obviously.
Tatum, Pritchard.
Yeah. I think that's a good guess. Yep. Yeah. Well, okay. So let's see.
I'm keeping Derek White. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Derek White one more year. But I don't know.
He'll be 32, which is fine. 32 is fine.
Yep. That might be his last season.
Could be. I mean, and part of the problem too, right, is when you look ahead to next season, it's like, okay, at some point, if you're trying to cut salary, good players are going to be a challenge. We're neither of us has said Jaylen Brown.
Neither of us has said Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
That's right. That is an astute observation, Tom Westerholm.
Neither of us has. Well, the misstep by both of us is that neither of us has said Baylor Shireman.
You know what? I still think he'll be around. I don't know if he's a starter.
Okay.
So,
you might be right.
I think right now I've got Pritchard as the 1, D White as the 2, Tatum as the 3/4, and you got to figure out who is your center at that point. Man. Okay, so
I don't think
we've traded Jaylen Brown. The question is, where has Jaylen Brown been traded to? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, and okay, so is are we misstepping here by not having, say, VJ Edgecombe on there, right? Because if you're trading Jaylen Brown anyway, that's first thing. I mean, I think again, whoever you're trading Jaylen Brown for, yeah, you're if you trade Jaylen Brown, you're obviously trying to get guys who would be starting in 2027 back.
Yes.
I personally think that I don't think you trade Jaylen Brown and then get your starting 2027 center back, I think that your center is just somebody you gotta sort that out. Like, go figure that out. Whoever, however you end up doing that. I don't think that's part of the Jaylen Brown thing.
I still feel like we need to find a home for Jaylen Brown. So maybe the starting center will be like Daniel Gafford.
Mm-hmm.
And Jaylen has gone to Dallas in a they're desperately trying to win now, and they're starting to give up pieces. And Dallas, a 3-team deal that involves Jaylen Brown, the Dallas Mavericks, and somebody else. So I'll say Daniel Gafford is the starting center, and then you still need another wing big type of player. And that's going to be a tough one because I don't know. I'm stumped. I'm stumped on who that this is the problem with the 2027. So many things can happen.
I like that one though. I like that. That's a good question. Cause I mean, we can look ahead to next year. We could be like, yeah, Jaylen Brown. He's going to be here. But then it's like, when you get to 2027, that's where that's where the really tough conversations come. And that's where you have to look at, your young guys and be like, okay, who actually has shown some flashes here? Who could be in the rotation? Who might, make at least a case for themselves to be a starter? So, I don't know. That was
I'm just gonna say, I'm looking at power forwards, guys who might be available. What the hell? I'll say Obi Toppin. Somehow has made his way into Boston. Okay. Obi Toppin, Daniel Gafford, Tatum, White, Pritchard.
It's a good team, honestly. That's
not a bad team.
No, not bad at all.
I mean,
fun. Really fun to think about Derek White as the no questions asked second best player in the starting lineup. Like, that's fun.
Well, this is what I was talking about last night on the show about like this upcoming season, because that's what Derek White is going to be.
Yeah, right.
So
exactly.
you now have like 2 potential years. That's why I think they're going to keep him. You have 2 years. Like, you know what? We want to, because you want to have something good around Jayson Tatum. You can't be like, well, we're just going to blow it up. So you got to have something good around Jayson Tatum.
The one thing I will say though is in this, I mean, so that's a fun group that you've assembled there. But I will say that in this collection, you are disregarding the fact that you traded Jaylen Brown presumably for somebody who presumably would then be in your starting lineup, right? Or is that the Gafford thing?
That's the Gafford thing. Gafford.
Oh, okay.
I'm figuring out that I'm going to assume they've acquired Toppin some other way.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Indy. So it's not haphazard, because I think Indy's going to get expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Indy's going to get expensive, and they're already expensive, and they're going to have to start selling pieces off. So I think somewhere between now and then, a guy like Toppin will be available. So that it's not just pulled out of thin air. It was a little bit pulled out of thin air.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But Indy is a team I'm looking at as a seller, and Boston, they know that they're going to be sellers out there. So we'll have to be positioned to buy. All right. Next topic here. Ooh, this is a fun one. Best value seats at TD Garden. Best value seats at TD Garden. This would be a quick one. So let's see this. Obviously, Loge, center court, very expensive. Those are not value seats. I don't like the behind the basket seats.
Not straight behind. Straight behind kind of stinks. I agree.
So obviously, upper deck balcony is going to be cheaper.
Yeah.
And if you can get balcony middle, you're seeing a lot of the game.
Yeah. Similar angle to seeing it on TV though.
Yes. So I'll say that you're probably going to get the best value kind of in the corners.
Yep.
So we sit in section 19. So above section 19, whatever the equivalent is on the other side, which I think would be like 13 maybe, but those corner sections where you got to be up higher, but you're going to get, it's almost like an old school, for people who remember the EA live sport, EA NBA live kind of corner basketball angle.
Yeah.
now I predate a lot of people here. So, but when we play like that kind of high up corner angle, so you got basically 4, we'll say 8 sections because it's like next to each other. But those corners, not straight behind the basket, but the corners so you can see most of that. That's probably your best bet to get.
Yeah, you can get a lot lower with those seats for a lot more bang for your buck. You can get a lot better view of the action, and you're not going to be like behind the basket. You just end up getting blocked off by stuff. It's not great.
People stand up, and you really miss a lot behind the baskets. I would not recommend.
And the stanchion ends up blocking quite a bit. Not great. Corners are the way to go for sure.
All right, here's a topic for us. We're going to come back and discuss. This will be a quick one. Pineapple on pizza, non-Celtics topic. We'll do that when we come back. Told you it can get a little fun over here. Today's show is brought to you by Car Gurus. If you're going to go car shopping, I know it's exhausting. It can be a real grind between confusing prices, hidden fees. It's overwhelming. Car Gurus, they're going to help you cut through all of the noise, show you the best deals with full confidence. They've got over 4 million listings. You can get new cars, used cars, more than any other marketplace online in the United States. They verify the dealers. They provide real price analysis and give you the tools and data you need to make the right choice without second guessing yourself. It's very easy to walk into a dealership and be like, well, this might be a good deal. I don't know. I've been car shopping for a while. We just finally settled on something, but it was a long, confusing process. You need a deal you can trust, and Car Gurus makes it easy to compare vehicles side by side, unbiased ratings. They got price drop alerts, so you know exactly when the perfect car is available in your budget, and in-depth vehicle details give you peace of mind. So it's no wonder SimilarWeb estimated traffic data shows Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site. Buy or sell your next car today with CarGurus.com. Go to CarGurus.com to make sure your next big deal is the best deal. That's CarGurus, CarGurus.com, CarGurus.com. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA Game Night. We're recording this before Game 6. I'm going to watch Game 6 and then podcast about it with Jake Madison on Locked On NBA Game Night. Will it be a celebration of a new champion? Will we be talking about a Game 7? Come join us on Locked On NBA Game Night wherever you find your podcast. All right, Tom Westerholm.
Game 7. Please give us a Game 7.
It'd be nice. I would love it.
I don't think we're going to get it, but I want one so bad. It's like Game 7 in the finals. Come on.
No, it'd be great.
It'd be one.
So great.
Come
with 2
on.
teams that haven't been there. So many storylines. It'd be so great. I just hope, I haven't even seen if any news has come out about Halliburton. I just hope he can play.
Shams was saying that he has every intention of playing. I mean, I hope he stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't see any updates.
But yeah. Okay.
Tom, pineapple and pizza.
I mean, no strong opinion. I know that we threw this to break. I don't eat it. I don't begrudge anybody eating it. If you enjoy it, great. It's pizza. I think I'm not like somebody who's like, that's not pizza. No, it's pizza.
It's pizza.
It's not my thing.
That's my listen. Eat what you want to eat. Don't tell me. Eat what you want to eat, man. Yeah. I don't care. What does my opinion have to do with your pizza?
We're on this earth for a finite amount of time. You should have eat the things that make you happy.
You like a pizza with ham and pineapple on it, and you enjoy that. Don't let my opinion be like, well, this random person says no, it doesn't belong on pizza. But hey, listen, my sister is a no pineapple on pizza person, and my stepson is. In fact, we've got a Hawaiian pizza upstairs right now that he loves. We have it upstairs literally right now. I think
you should go get it and prove it. I don't believe you.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pause this podcast and come back down with a slice of Hawaiian pizza. Here it is. Can you see it? That is pineapple on pizza.
Pineapple on pizza.
It's small.
Take a bite. Describe. Maybe. Yeah. Have any of the listeners? What do you taste in there? What do we got with pineapple on pizza?
It's it's sweet. Mm-hmm. There's the ham. Mm-hmm. So you get that cured meat. I'm sure the chewing on the microphone is great for people.
Yeah.
It's ASMR here.
Anti-ASMR. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you got salty. You got sweet. I like the combination.
Yeah.
I'm pro. I'm not ordering it. I think on my own. I'm not
That's a
going
good
out to order.
distinction. That's a good distinction. Like if it's in front of me and it's like the only thing that's there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Fine.
If somebody gets a Hawaiian pizza, I'll have a slice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know what? My stepson, he likes it, and so we got it. So live your life, man. Live your life. Don't let us determine what you eat. If you enjoy it, eat it. Okay.
I think we solved that one. That was good. Yeah.
Next topic: forgotten Celtics role players.
Go. Okay. Yeah.
Forgotten Celtics role players. Well, I don't remember any of them because they're forgotten.
Because they're forgotten. I mean, my all-time favorite. It's funny because I'm definitely not the only, Celtics adjacent person who says this guy, but my all-time favorite is Jordan Crawford.
Jordan Crawford, player of the week. Jordan Crawford.
I mean, still killing it in the big three. I follow him on I follow him on Instagram. I make sure that I try to keep up on all his doings. Got into a big scrap with Lance Stevenson. Lance Stevenson threw a big old punch at him.
Wow.
So anyway, yeah, shout out to Jordan Crawford. Definitely my favorite Celtics random role player.
The random role player, I go back to Mark Akers and Brad Lowhouse from the 90s Celtics, just because it was post Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale. And I'm like, we went from Kevin McHale and Robert Parrish to Brad Lowhouse and Mark Akers. And I was like, deep sigh.
Yeah. I got a bunch more.
Sure.
All
Hit
right.
me.
Okay, so this guy wasn't I always really enjoyed Phil Pressey, and he's a lot less random now. You know what I mean? Because now it's he's around the team. But I really enjoyed him as a player.
Yeah.
Tyler Zeller was, if you just put Tyler Zeller in the game right now, people would be like, oh, Luke Cornett's in, which is very funny. And then he would be way worse because Luke Cornett is a much better player than Tyler Zeller was. But Tyler Zeller wasn't terrible. And I believe he had a buzzer beater one season, which was fun. I really enjoyed Jay Crowder because he talked a lot of trash, and he was
he's not forgotten.
Is he not really forgotten? Okay, all right, then I got one. How about Brandon Bass?
I like Brandon Bass.
Yeah,
I like Brandon Bass. In fact, because I had to write all of these out, somewhere in this is a card that says Brandon Bass. So
okay.
So we got to save that discussion. It's the only time we got to save that discussion.
All right, I love that. Yeah.
I remember, was it Chris Humphreys that I remember? I think one preseason, believing that the Celtics could run their offense through Chris Humphreys because he had a decent preseason, and I was like, "Look, Chris Humphreys in the high post, he was playing well." I think it was him. Yeah. So that's
here's a deep pull. Do you remember Marquise Daniels?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Marquise Daniels.
I don't really have much to say about him, but I just remember him being useful in some games.
Marquise Daniels is, I believe, the reason why Kendrick Perkins was traded. Now, Marquise Daniels, this was I forget what year that was, but the Celtics were thin at the small forward, and they weren't going to extend. They weren't going to offer a new contract to Kendrick Perkins.
Right.
And Marquise Daniels went down and got a whiplash and hurt his neck and concussion or something. He got a really bad injury. We had to cut it off. And he was the only backup to Paul Pierce at that point. And so what was this, 2011, 2012?
2010, 2011, I believe. Yeah.
Somewhere in that
region. It was 11, 12. Yeah.
I think it was after, because 2010 Perk was still on it. So it might have been 11 or it might have been 11.
I think it was 2010, 2011, that.
Yeah.
Season.
Yeah. So the trade for Jeff Green filled a need.
Yeah. That's
bring in a small forward. Everybody was talking about, I can't believe he did that. And he tore the soul out of this team and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, but he wasn't bringing Perk back. And it was the only player of value that could bring back a small forward to kind of add to the bench. So that's more Marquise Daniels. This is the Marquise Daniels kind of claim to fame.
Also, I'm sorry. Perk was an excellent Celtic, and even at the time, like I definitely like wrote that Danny like pulled the soul out of the team. I
Mhm.
don't believe that to be true anymore. I don't. Yeah, come on. Like, it's the NBA. These guys are pros.
Yeah, seriously. I thought that was overblown. Like people really no.
I got one more fun one here.
Go for it.
Nenad Krstić.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Nenad
just remember
Krstić.
him having like a couple of good games and like very much overblowing what I thought Nenad Krstić could be.
Right. Him,
But
Semi Erden,
yes,
like
yes.
in that
Yeah.
like kind of random European. Okay, well, I'll wrap it up with one forgotten old school one, Xavier McDaniel.
Oh, yeah.
Xavier McDaniel, X, who is the subject of one of the all-time Larry Bird stories,
Sure is.
where he
Yep.
said, I'm gonna hit this in your face, and he did. And they said, "Damn, I didn't mean to leave that much time on the clock."
Yeah.
And then X came to Boston. Loved Xavier McDaniel.
Yeah.
Loved Xavier McDaniel. So,
Good
all
one.
right, I think we got like a pretty decent. Another guy that people probably haven't heard of. Brian Scalabrine was on the team like during the championship years. You remember him?
Yeah.
All right.
I do love the concept if we ever really need one of like I think it was Deadspin used to now Defector used to do like, hey, let's remember some guys, and they would just list some guys. I think we should revisit this in like August when we're really struggling, and with like let's just have an episode where we just remember some guys.
What we did was just like the meme of like they're like just white guys just like to sit around and remember names of people that used to play for their team or some stuff like that. It was like just random sports fan kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, guilty. I think guys, just like sports fans, right? It's just fun to oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah. All right.
Shout out to whoever submitted that one.
Okay. All right. We'll come back. We got more here. Let's see. Can the Celtics win the draft lottery next year? So not this draft, obviously the 2026 draft lottery. Can they win the draft lottery? We'll address that when we come back. Today's show is brought to you by Wayfair. I am going to be shopping on Wayfair for sure because we are still in the process. We got to do it soon because we're throwing a graduation party. So we need stuff fast. Wayfair is going to get us some stuff for the outside, this patio that we're doing, and it's going to make it super easy. I know, because they've got everything. They got outdoor bars, they got fire pits, hot tubs, gazebos, everything that we need, even string lights. So we're going to give our backyard this nice, cool feeling without the big price tag. So we're going to look at, we already got a couple of lounge chairs from them. That's why we're going back. The style that we have is kind of lean, kind of minimal, but with all the other work that we're doing on the house, we need something that it's in our price range that's going to be here fast, free, like Wayfair delivers it, totally hassle-free. So I know that when we're done, we're going to have this awesome looking backyard, all courtesy of Wayfair. Don't wait. You can make your outdoor space your dream oasis today with Wayfair and enjoy it all summer long. Head to wayfair.com right now. Shop a huge outdoor selection. That's Wayfair, WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out, it's on this feed right here, the 2025 Locked On NBA Mock Draft. All 5 episodes, a comprehensive NBA draft analysis from NBA experts, college experts, NBA draft experts. Find the 2025 Locked On NBA Mock Draft on NBA Big Board and Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. This will be on our YouTube feed as well. All right, Tom Westerholm. Can the Celtics win the draft lottery this upcoming season? What do you think?
Yes, they could. I mean, this is a classic like dad joke. Like they can, but may they? All right. Like, I mean, probably not. Right. I think that they're going to be. I don't think that. I think that to win the draft lottery and to be in that position, like I mean, look around the Eastern Conference. It's like I think you would have to kind of try to get yourself out of the playoff picture to be out of the playoff picture with even like with the guys who are going to be coming back. I still think with the guys that you kind of assume are coming back. I think you have to try to be out of the picture, and I don't think they're going to try to be out of the picture. But I mean, I also don't like. We've talked about this too. The picture ahead of this team. I do think that there's a very valid case to be made for putting themselves in a position to potentially win the draft lottery. It's not a dumb idea to look at that and wonder if they should go try to get AJ Dibansa instead of, like that's not a dumb thing to wonder. I just don't think it's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick to what I've been saying. It depends on Tatum. Yeah. If they think there's a chance that Tatum is going to come back during the season and be available for a playoff run, then you don't. If you think, and like this is, I think they're going to be able to figure that out fairly quickly, because as I said in yesterday's podcast, the injury happened in May. So you've got June. We're really a month into the injury at this point. So July, August, September, October is 5 months. So October is training camp. October is guys back on the floor. If Tatum is truly on the early side of his potential return, he'll be available. We'll be able to see him. We might even talk to him on media day. You know what I mean? So that might be the first time we get to see him. So the Celtics will know fairly quickly. October, November, December 15th is when the first restrictions get lifted on trades. That's when trade season kind of opens. We'll know. And if he's not ready, if he's trending, 6 more months, then at that point you can be like, you know what? We are going to pull the trigger on the Porzingis trade, on a Jaylen Brown trade. We at that point they can decide. And then if that's the case, yes, they can win the draft lottery next year. I'm going to say no, because I think this team is still too good. I remain optimistic about what Tatum can, his timeline is going to be. Yeah. I think he can be available, but that's just a guess. So,
well, here's one quick alternative to that though. If this team does like kind of ethically, not bottom out, but if they ethically miss the playoffs, do the draft lottery gods reward them for playing it out ethically and being here because of an injury?
So they've tried it. They didn't tank. And it just so happens, like, I don't know, sprained ankles and stuff like that, and Tatum didn't return, and they weren't good enough. Then the
counterpoint, of course, is that the draft lottery gods proved themselves to be deeply unjust gods this year when they gave Mavericks Cooper Flag. So
yes.
I don't know.
Well, they need a makeup. So maybe that would be it. All right, let's go. Increasing transition next year, playing faster, playing more in transition next year. Look, I think that's a possibility just because Jaylen is going to be your main guy, and he likes to play faster. And you're removing Drew Holiday, theoretically, presumably, because and he's not a fast player, but Derek White is. He likes to push, he likes to run. So it depends. It might depend on their big situation and being able to rebound and push. And I think the Celtics should kind of adjust their defensive strategy to force more turnovers. So not only do I think they can increase transition next, I think they should. I think they should play faster, and I think that should be the next iteration of the Celtics, because you're not going to have all of these great players where you can play slow, set up your offense, and any shot you get in the half court is a good shot. Like, that's any shot they got over the past 2 years, for the most part, was like 90% of them were good shots because of the guys who were taking them.
And the guys who were generating them and creating them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now it's going to be a little bit different. Yeah. Even when Tatum comes back, you're going to have definitely more specific role players. And so you're going to have to find a way to maximize some of these guys who are just simply, you're going to find we started out with the 2007 starters. Those guys aren't going to be as good as who we have now. And so you're going to have to find ways to maximize those guys, and playing faster and cutting more and all of that stuff is going to be part of it. So I'd like to see more transition. I think that is part philosophical, but I think part because the guys that they have heading into next season, I think they're going to want to play that way.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Tatum being out really puts a damper on it. You've lost the guy that made it so easily, that made you able to so easily generate good shots and in the half court. So yeah, playing faster is a great idea. I think that's an easy one for sure.
You've also lost the guy who tends to slow the game down because he's good in the half court. Like he's a half court player.
Yep.
He's not a transition player.
Right.
And so that, you just have to play differently. They play slow, I think, because of Tatum. You play the style of your best player.
Yeah.
So that's okay. We got time for one more here, I think. This better be a good one. All right. Why does the media hate the Celtics? So I think there's a lot of sensitivity here to this. And they're talking about the national media.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of national media disdain for the Celtics, partly because of who's in the national media, right? Like Stephen A. Smith is a Knicks fan. Like a lot of these people are, but even I don't know if it's disdain for the Celtics necessarily as much as it is the talk show. We got to take a stance. And the Celtics, I think the Celtics have been on the boring side the past 2 seasons. And so the only thing you can talk about with the Celtics is, things they're doing wrong and like blah, blah. So anytime anything went wrong, people were like, aha. And so I think that was part of why there's been so much hatred for the Celtics. But also they're just people who think the Celtics are hated just in general, which, hey, legacy team. There's going to be people who just absolutely just hate the Celtics no matter what. And it doesn't matter. But
yeah. Well, no, I think that's right. I think legacy team, I think is a big important point here, right? Because when you like other legacy teams and people who are like either affiliated with or like, fans of or loosely whatever, those other legacy teams hate your team, right? Like the Knicks, the Sixers, the Lakers, obviously, the Bulls to a lesser extent probably, but like those other 3 for sure, right? The Heat, whatever, these are
Knicks. All those
Knicks. Yeah, absolutely. So all these teams hate your team, and then the small market teams hate all the big market teams for getting all the media attention. So that's one thing, right? Where it's like there's 29 other, and anybody who's affiliated with any of the other 29 other, teams out there, they have something against you, like for sure. I think that you hit on it too with them being boring. When you look at the national media, it's like I always shied away from like the media doesn't hate the Celtics. The media is just the media, doing media things until last year when it was just so blatantly obvious that like the Celtics were the better team in that finals matchup and people were picking Dallas. But I think Dallas was just a more interesting pick because they were kind of a little bit more out of nowhere, whereas the Celtics have been kind of like hanging around for a while. And I think people just got really bored of that iteration of the Celtics of saying the same thing about the Celtics. And it was more interesting to say that the Celtics would be, down 3-1 before they realized that the playoff, that the finals had started. Like all these things were like, they were more, it was a more interesting take than, kind of a measured, well, I think that this Celtics team has been around for a while and they're very good and they really know how to play together and they're going to killer whale offense. That stuff wasn't as interesting, I don't think, to people. So I think it was a lot of those 2 things that really sum it up.
I'm going to take the 34th minute here and just say, let's not excuse some Celtics fans for driving some of that because
absolutely.
Look, fans of every team can be this way.
Definitely no listeners to this podcast.
No. But some fans online, there are some people who are just out there. And like, there's Bill Simmons, who is just people. He's divisive, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody likes Bill Simmons. Like a lot of people were like, you know what, saying all kinds of. So Bill Simmons is like a driver. Everything is Celtics with him, and there's a backlash. And there's a backlash against Celtics fans, and some Celtics fans online can be like very middle finger up and being like, yeah, we don't care. And it's just kind of like, there's an element of that backlash against Celtics fans too.
Certainly. And not just Simmons. And so, I mean, Barstool too, right? Like Portnoy's a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like very high profile, very divisive Celtics fans out there. Yeah.
Yes. We'll leave it at that. All right. I like this. I think the second week of Flashcard Friday works for me, man. I think we picked up the pace. We played in transition. We played faster.
That's right.
This time around.
Yeah.
So, all right, we'll keep it going. I still got this big old stack. I'm going to be asking for more.
Look at that big, beautiful stack. I love
big,
that.
beautiful stack of topics. Every Friday we'll be doing it, so check it out. Tom, thank you so much.
Appreciate you, man.
I always appreciate you, Tom. And I appreciate you, the listener, the viewer, here with me 5 days a week, the everydayer here. I love you all for being here with me every day, Monday through Friday. Still Monday through Friday, June, July. August and September will drop down to 3 days a week. And then back up 5 days a week, getting into the regular season, which is going to be happening sooner than you think. But lots of coverage here on the Locked On Celtics podcast. So make sure you're subscribed. Get into the comment section on the YouTube page. Share your thoughts about the random players or anything that we talked about here. Share your thoughts in the comment section there. And then I'd love it if you shared the podcast. Tell everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.